so long. A work in progress. It's a Chelsea team that might well be blossoming. João Pedro, Cole Palmer!
Look at him edge of the box, just free. There's a little flick there from João Pedro. Oh, you probably expect with his left foot, just bend it inside that post.
Massive range of passing from Robert Sanchez, and Nuno Mendes has been caught out here. Malo Gusto had the composure to turn. Cole Palmer! He takes accuracy over power!
And PSG gave Cole Palmer a sighting in the opening stages. They got away with it then. You can't give that man two looks with the left foot that he has. Brilliantly, no power, just looking at accuracy. Sees that far corner and puts it exactly where he wanted to. Great start from Chelsea.
Cole's pass this time. Cole Palmer exploiting that space again. Oh, what a trick from Palmer! Superb! The finish is almost a carbon copy. But the dummy was bought hook, line and sinker.
Sends Beraldo to the floor, that one there. He's finished it there once. He knows how to put it in that far corner with his left foot. He does it to perfection there.
So much popular thought that if Paris Saint-Germain had to win today, it would secure the Ballon d'Or for Dembele. Work needed in that regard. Palmer, João Pedro, it's 3, and Chelsea are running away with the FIFA Club World Cup final. 3 goals in 42 minutes. 3 goals now at this Club World Cup for João Pedro.
Just to dink it over Donnarumma. This man was on the beach a week ago. And now he's scoring in the Club World Cup final.
It's deemed to be violent conduct. It is a red card. That's it. Chelsea, Club World Cup champions. What a month and a half it has been for Enzo Maresca.
Got the best.
Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea Football Club. FIFA Club World Champions. Let that sink in. Get familiar with that phrase. Chelsea Football Club, FIFA Club World Champions. For the next 4 years, you're going to hear it. Every time Chelsea loses a game, they're going to remind you, but are you a FIFA Club World Champion? Every time you teach Chelsea, they're going to remind you, but are you a FIFA Club World Champion? Man United 5, Chelsea 0. Okay, cool, but are you a FIFA Club World Champion? Liverpool 3, Chelsea 0. Okay, cool, but are you a FIFA Club World Champion? That's what it's going to be. For the next 4 years, every day you will be served a reminder. Chelsea fans are insufferable. Admittedly and yet admirably. You only hate if you don't know what a Chelsea thing is. It's a Chelsea thing. And I'm happy for them. All right, Chelsea defied all the odds in the sun at the MetLife Stadium. They're FIFA Club World Champions. When everyone ruled them out, everybody said it was not possible. Chelsea wrote poetry, rewrote the script, and became the champions of the world. So we're going to talk about how they did it. And you will get your humble meat pies eating in this studio. I brought quite a number of them because there are a number of people that need to eat humble pie. Either they eat the pie or there is no show. It's what it's going to be. The Black Queens are in the quarterfinals of the Women's AFCON. That's taking place in Morocco. They're in action tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. against Algeria. It's win or bust. They've never won the AFCON. They've never been, in fact, they've not been in the final since 2006. So that's 21 years ago since the Black Queens made the final. But they're in Morocco now, and they've made the knockout rounds. In fact, for the knockout rounds, it's the first time they've reached there since 2016. So already, they've gone one step further than they've done in the last 9 years. But can they go all the way? We'll be crossing over live to Morocco to our reporter, Lawrence Baidu. There was a press conference earlier today. What has the coach been saying? What are the players saying? What's the mood in camp? And are we confident that they will get something out of this game against Algeria, who have not conceded a goal in this competition so far, by the way? But they're also in the quarterfinals for the first time ever in their history. So what are they bringing? We'll talk about that. Also, Brian Mbeumo to Manchester United is a done deal now, according to all reports. One of the longest protracted transfer sagas of this summer will finally come to a conclusion. And what are Man United, Liverpool, what are they doing in the transfer market? One day they are in for Isak, the next day they are in for Etikiti. If he misses a chance and you're listening to cheap commentary, well, you know what it's going to be. Abrantia Ekitike. It will be a beauty. It will be beautiful. So is he coming? Is he coming? Over $90 million is how much it's being reported to be the transfer fee. But do Liverpool really need him? Or are they just bluffing? Perhaps they actually want Isak. Isak is the one they actually want. I'm not too sure. So we will dive into the transfer market today. We'll have a lot of time to discuss a lot of the transfers that are happening. Ghana's under 20 are also playing a WAFA B-Boys competition. That's happening in Pram Pram. So we'll get some update from there as well. But the show is live and interactive on social media. Get in touch with us. Use the hashtag GamePlan on X if you want to send us a WhatsApp message. It's 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. That's the WhatsApp number. Let's hear from you. All the Atsu fans, all the Chelsea fans. I want to hear from you as well on everything we'll be talking about here. Your thoughts on that Chelsea victory. What happened to Paris Saint-Germain? I'm quite interested in your thoughts. The show is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, and Betway. Get way more. The guys are seated. Sitsofe, Philip Achirim is here. So is Daniel Koranteng. Victor Atsu Tamakloe.
Hi. What's up?
You, this guy.
Awa.
Victor Atsu Tamakloe.
The one and only.
Hi, talk to me. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. What have you been up to? How's your week? How was your week?
It's been good. Yesterday I had a very interesting session with a former Black Stars player, and it was very enlightening. Yeah, on a lot of the things that today we think are new to us. The lifestyle of professional footballers, and even the conversation we were having last week about issues of doping and player relationships and all of those things. The very first incidents in the national teams that we have had the attitude that the society showed back then to it, the way managers approached players who had certain lifestyles and all of that. Very, very interesting. Unfortunately, not every aspect of that is meant for the public. But all of that to say that everything we are seeing today has happened before. Yeah. So I've had that kind of week. Hopefully, we will have new stories about AFCON success to tell than the interesting or the fairy tale stories of Bema Camp and flying a helicopter into the Accra Sports Stadium in the final of the AFCON. Hopefully, our generation also gets our stories to tell.
Listen, guys, let's cross over to Morocco.
Yep.
First and
Let's talk to
foremost.
the man of the moment.
Yes, Lawrence Baidu is joining us on Zoom to talk to us about the Black Queens, Ghana's female national team, who are in Morocco in the quarterfinals of the Women's AFCON. Hi, Lawrence. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Listen, where are you at the moment? Where are you joining us from? What's happening there?
I'm joining you from Sadia, the bus station. But before
Hold
that,
hold on. You are joining us from where? Sadia?
Saidia.
Saidia.
Yeah.
I thought you said Sadia. That's my sister's name.
Okay. Saidia. I think even before we joined the bus to our base, there's a little shopping going on. So, as you can see, hold on for me a minute. Yeah.
You have blurred your background, so we can't see anything behind you.
That's what he's trying to say.
Oh, okay. Do you see there's a little shopping going on? Abigail is buying a few things. So, yeah. There you see her.
Okay,
Yeah, but then
you people you are blowing your per diem. Go ahead. It's fine.
We're not blowing our per diem. We're actually buying things that we think are less expensive.
All right. So you're talking to us from a bus station. You're getting a couple of things from the market.
Yeah.
But tell us what it's been like. What has happened today? Game day is tomorrow, so that doesn't seem to be a lot of time till then. So what's been happening?
Exactly. I think since that game against Tanzania, the players have been training, but today was just less than 24 hours to the game. So there was a press conference which Kimlas Björkegran and then defender Josephine Bunsu had to attend. Well, quite a few things to take from those press conferences because Kimlas is hoping to reach the semi-finals of the competition, considering how Ghana has grown into it. Josephine Bunsu, who is also enjoying her first appearance with the national team at the WAFCON level, has also loved the time so far. I mean, it's been good omen for them. It's, a tournament that they've enjoyed since that bumpy start, but then things are clicking quite well for them, and they are hoping to carry that momentum.
Okay. Talk to me about the mood in camp then. Clearly, they didn't start well with that defeat to South Africa, then a draw against Mali, unexpected draw, I might add. They did recover against Tanzania, winning 4-1. So confidence must have been high then. What is the mood generally like in the last few days in this break period between the group stages and the quarterfinals?
Yeah, I think it's been massive for them. Lots of confidence, I must say. Because after the game against Tanzania, the next day they had to go to the beach for relaxation. To cool off the pressure that the group stage came with. So you spoke to some of them, they tell you that at this point, it's just about making themselves proud, making the country proud. That thought of quitting from the group stage or getting knocked out from the group stage is gone. It's all about moving into the last four. They are taking it game by game. I was talking to Chantal this week, speaking to Jennifer, who, for Chantal, it's quite surprising because she said from the very first day she got to camp, she's never thought about living here in the group stage or living here early. She feels everything is playing to what she ever imagined that Ghana would be in the last four of this competition. And Jennifer said that, the bumpy start meant that a lot of thinking had to go through, but they have overcome it and they are enjoying their time. They are hoping that they will add a semi-final berth to it because that would mean that they replicate whatever they had in 2016. Mind you, there's no one from that 2016 squad. I said Portia. 4 players have enjoyed this competition before. 20 of them are quite new. So for everyone, each step or each movement each progress is one that they want to be proud of.
Okay. Talk to me about what they will face in the opposition, Algeria. This is a team that hasn't conceded a goal, but they're also not very well known to be strong in women's football, and yet they've made history, first ever in the quarterfinals. What kind of challenge are they posing here? Is there a reason for Ghanaians to be scared of Algeria?
It's actually the first time they're advancing from the group stage, so quite a good one for Algeria. If you look at the dynamics that they played, in as much as they've not considered a goal in group stages, they've also not scored too many goals. They've just scored one goal, and that goal came in their first game. I mean, the opening 10 minutes of that particular encounter. So aside that, they've not really been dangerous. It's just about managing and getting the results that will help them advance into the next stage of the competition. Their goalkeeper, Chloe Ngazi, has, perhaps been the best performer for them because she's come up and saved them quite a couple of times. She's been key to their performance. And then she's hopeful of replicating the same thing. She wants to keep a clean sheet against Ghana, but she knows that will be very difficult. She knows that will come at a very high rate because considering the way Ghana has been playing, the way they've been creating chances, and also recently scoring 4 goals against Tanzania.
Okay, what about team news? Is everyone fit? What is the squad looking like ahead of that game tomorrow?
I think the only doubt will have to be Jacqueline Owusu, who is still yet to play a game since coming into the tournament. She's been training all right, but not at 100%, and you don't want to risk her when we are getting into this kind of stages because you think she will be available at a certain point to make that cut and then bring her full energy into the game. As far as injuries are concerned, she's the only one. For suspensions, I think Doris Wedua comes back after 7 after being suspended for the last game against Tanzania due to yellow card accumulation. So she's available and she's ready to go again. It's about whether the coach will want to bring her back into the starting lineup or keep the same starting lineup that he used in the game in the win against Tanzania.
Are there any issues of money or because I think before the competition there was a story about possible agitation, players unhappy, but within the week we saw a story from the ministries, from the embassy, the ambassador, Ghana's ambassador to Morocco, saying that they had settled all bonuses. And is that all behind the team and everybody's laser focused on tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think everyone is focused on there's no monetary issues at all. If it's on the lighter side, it was just a rep from the ministry who had mentioned that for every goal they will score against Tanzania, to give the team $2,000. As to whether that has been fulfilled or not, we are still yet to confirm that. But I will also want to take it. Maybe it's a promise that will be delivered later. The team is focused. Ghana's ambassador to Morocco had mentioned that there are plans to get the team some support or to motivate them extra as they go on. But she didn't mention the exact dynamics that will take place. So as things stand, I would say there are no monetary issues at all in camp, and they are all focused on the game against Algeria.
Very well. Lawrence, thank you very much. Good luck to you and Akosia and Abigail. You three are doing wonderful stuff for women's football.
Only 3.
Just those 3.
Oh, brilliant.
That are covering the Black Queens in Algeria. So you guys take care of yourself. Don't spend all your per diem at the Sadia market because tomorrow when you go to Salamatu market, problem can come there. We
are moving. Tell Daniel Koranteng I'll be waiting for Mama.
Hey, Koranteng. He said he's waiting for Mama. He's not getting Mama.
No, I'll link him. You shouldn't worry. You should be patient. I see the guy in water bottle. Lawrence.
Maybe I should
become water bottle to
This is why you take from the girl.
Maybe I should become
It's probably Akosia's.
It's probably Akosia's. Anyway, thank you very much.
It be my own.
Lawrence Bade is joining us all the way from Morocco. Saidia is where he is reporting from. Ghana's game, I think, will be in Bekan, the Bekan Stadium, which is where they played their last game as well. Guys, quick thoughts on that. We all were reasonably very unimpressed, really, about the team's preparations. In fact, ever since Kim Lasbo Keegan took over, they haven't necessarily been very impressive. Even in preparatory games, they weren't impressive. And the first 2 matches also gave us reason to be a bit skeptical. But that last game, they recovered well, won by 4-1 against Algeria. It's reasonable for us to expect them to win, no?
Yeah, it's reasonable to expect it. To be honest, when the girls were going to the competition, I didn't have my hopes very high for them. And so I said on social media, people should measure those expectations and not put pressure on the girls. And again, we were in a very tricky group, but I thought the draw in the way it was for Ghana was pleasant because we played our most difficult game first. And Mali, I thought, was going to be more difficult than Tanzania, which came second. And then we faced Tanzania in the third group stage game. So in that order was good. So you had a slow start, but it was expected. South Africa are giants; they are defending champions. We should have perhaps won against Mali. I thought we would, and then would win against Tanzania. But we got a draw, and it did the business against Tanzania. So I think it's momentum that is building up for the ladies, and in every competition it's important. It's important that you carry momentum into the important games that are ahead of you. So you didn't have a good start, but here you are with a win, a very good win, a very good performance in the last game in the group stage. Then you are coming up against Algeria. Yes, Algeria they've made history. They look impressive for their own standards. But as we speak, Algeria don't score a lot of goals. Yes, they don't concede goals as far as the tournament is concerned. But Ghana will be looking at Algeria and be thinking that they could be making the semis, and it's probably the draw that they are happy to get going into the quarterfinal. Because others have trickier draws. So Ghana will look at Algeria with no disrespect to them and be thinking that they could fancy those chances coming up against them.
And you're absolutely right. They would be happy they didn't get Zambia or Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Those two have to play against each other today, actually.
Yeah.
The quarterfinal rounds are starting today. The Black Queens play tomorrow. Just before Atsu comes in, let me just go through today's fixtures. There are 2 quarterfinal matches today. There's Nigeria, Zambia. That's 4 p.m. So that's the game that will kick off the quarterfinal rounds. And then after that the host nation...
Final.
Yeah, that should be a final. After that, the host nation, Morocco, then face Mali. At 7 p.m. Actually, quickly, you've been doing commentary on the Black Queens, so you've probably seen them a bit closer than the rest of us. What do you fancy their chances against Algeria?
I think this is possibly the least complicated game so far for the Queens. But I would like to say that, Charlie, make we slow down the girls. See, yes, investment in the team has improved. Yes, they are playing more games than ever. We're flying them abroad and everything. But all of those are marginal gains. You need to do that for a longer period before we get to the point where we are expecting the team, or we start to expect or demand pre-2006 performance from this team. The reality of this team is that in 19 years, we've only qualified out of the group stage once. And that was 9 years ago. On 4 occasions, we have not been good enough to qualify for the tournament. Since the tournament was expanded, this is the first time we have made the Women's AFCON. So, the Black Queens that you knew, 98 up until 2006, where we were making the semis at a canter, it is not the same. Others have caught up, have made leaps and bounds, have grown in the game. Equatorial Guinea have won the competition. South Africa have come to win the competition. We've seen Zambia excel at this competition. We need to admit that we've got quite some catching up to do. And so when you watch the Black Queens, and I saw people talking about how in the past the big personalities are Joa Bayo, Alberta Saki. It is true. But for some time now, levels have changed, and we need to be modest in our expectations. I like the way the team handled the final 30 minutes of that game, because something had to give. We went for broke. I think the substitutions worked, except against Algeria. I would want to see Stella Nyamiche start that game, right? Princess Mafo is good, but after dribbling her opponent, that's it. She doesn't have the pace. She's not able to carry the ball forward, and almost every time defenders recover against her. Alice Kusi is good. I would want to see her on the right side. But let's see a bit more dynamism. Also, when the midfielders start giving away possession like that, when Jennifer Kujo, when Asantua, when they start displacing passes, there has to be a consequence. Take them off if they are not able to influence the game. Because the way this team plays, it needs its central midfielders to seize control of the game. So when they are not involved, every time the team has suffered, every time we've conceded chances and have struggled to control games, it's been when the two of them have been off color. We have midfielders on the bench. Some of them have been exposed to the biggest stages. And it's Nabila was scoring free kicks from 12 or 13 years ago on the world stage. So she will not be new to a platform like this. I would want to see her do it. Look, yes, I respect Algeria, but again, they are the least complicated of the teams that we have met because they are very predictable. They will play their compact football and hope that Lina Basuha does something for them. She's the lady who plays for Al Nassr, was part of the PSG team that in 2023 finished runners-up in the French League, the French Cup as well. Yeah, you Al Nassr. So
the Saudi Women's League is also very strong.
Yeah, we are good.
They've got quite a number of their players in this particular tournament.
Saudi, everything is good.
Habibi. So, look, she is that one threat, and I think we should be able to deal with her.
Somebody who sees Ronaldo regularly. Oh, she's a problem.
Look, because if you take her out of the team, the only other player that will be a problem is the centre back who plays for Fleury. Those are the most exposed players that they have got. Apart from Bosoho, the only other threats that perhaps you look at is the manager himself because of what he's done. Won the French League on 4 occasions with Lyon, later coached PSG, made the Champions League final in 2010, only to lose on penalty shootout. So he's a very good manager who knows how to put together a good team, but they are low on talent.
That's true.
That's why I think that if we react well, especially with our substitutions, I don't think there is anything wrong with the game plan and how we approach games. I think the issue has to be the timing of the substitutions and how our central midfielders often give away possession cheaply. But apart from that, I'm very optimistic that they can get a result. But if not, it is not the end of the world. We need to be patient with this team and keep supporting them. Yes, there are going to be times when they will disappoint us. But, final warning, this is not the Black Stars, the Black Queens of pre-2006.
I think we all agree. This team hasn't qualified for the last AFCON. The one before that, they got kicked out in the group stages. We don't need to be told.
The one you hosted.
The one we hosted.
That one said group stage.
So actually, you are stating the obvious. We don't need to be told that this is not.
Shall I ask Danny K a question?
Yeah.
It's a question I know the answer to, but I just wanted a different answer.
What is the question?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So I asked Danny K.
Yeah.
So seriously, the Black Stars won't play the next AFCON.
It hasn't sunk in,
I think it had. Then we are talking about the girls in the WAFCON.
Then
and I'm like, okay, so we have Morocco. So then I pause. My brain, when you are taking something, your brain pauses. I pause like, you go Morocco. So I had to double check with Danny K. Danny K said, hey! Charlie!
That is tough. That is tough. Anyway, a reminder, big credit to Adansi Travels. They are the sponsors of our WAFCON coverage. And we've been doing a lovely coverage. We managed to send a reporter to Morocco. So thank you very much to Adansi Travels for partnering with us for that. They are doing lots of amazing trips.
They put together some fantastic tours.
Oh yeah, I think the latest one is a trip to Dubai.
Right.
Then they have another one, Turkey and Egypt.
Yeah,
or
Turkey,
something.
Egypt.
Yeah.
They do
amazing
some
stuff.
Kenya. They do some lovely. I see them doing a lot. Singapore, some way.
They are the only ones.
Check like I forgot them.
You forgot them.
Yeah.
Adansi Travels are our
Charlie,
proud,
ask them if they go to Saudi.
Proud.
Quick. And if as part of the package they get an Assad game, you know. They should cook something for me.
They can do one for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Charlie.
They can do one for you. So, Charlie, big thank you to Adansi Travels for partnering with us for our WAFCON coverage. We truly appreciate it. All of your travel needs, of course, Adansi Travels. They are amazing. They've got pedigree, they've got history, they've got everything. Guys, listen, we've got a lot to go through. So I want us to switch briefly to a conversation that will interest a lot of people. And all week, this is what we've been talking about. And yet, it seemed like we hadn't spoken about it on Game Plan. We did speak about it here last Friday. When we came here, we spent an extensive period of time previewing this Club World Cup match between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. And we had quite the interesting takes from different kinds of people. There's one particular gentleman whose takes on how the final was going to play out wasn't one that was necessarily grounded on... In fact, he doubled between fact and his own outrageous opinion and interpretation of those facts. Based on the facts available to him, he made some conclusions that turned out to be quite extraordinary. in nature. Then, as if that wasn't enough, he carried it to another platform and said exactly the same thing. All right. So, listen, I'm gonna play this to you, and I'm gonna come back to that particular gentleman and ask him what exactly happened. Okay. So, guys, listen to this.
Look, Sunday, if I am Maresca, let's go out there and enjoy ourselves. If we can limit the damage, fine. If not, there is no shame in losing 3-1 or 3-0 to PSG.
So they should just throw their arms in the air.
I didn't know. I said go and enjoy yourselves and do the best you can. Limit the damage if you can. If
Because
if
winning
there are chances,
is not an option.
No, it's not. There is no scenario where... Look, people have this idea that because, excuse my language, PSG have got midgets in the midfield, you can bully them. In the period that they've actually stepped things up and have been good, they've met about 4 Premier League clubs. On no occasion did they look physically inferior.
True.
They didn't know. I said go and enjoy yourselves and do the best you can. Limit the damage if you can.
Because
if
winning
there are chances,
is not an option.
No, it's not. If you can.
Because
if
winning
there are chances,
is not an option.
No, it's not. If there
Winning
are
is
chances,
not an option.
No, it's not. There is no scenario where... Look, people have this idea that because...
There's no scenario where what? Where what? Okay. That's actually... He said there's no scenario. So, in fact, what he meant was that there was no... In fact, even if at the start of the match, right after kickoff, Chelsea had 10 players sent off, even that scenario was not a scenario that would allow Chelsea to win the match. He says there is no scenario possible in football. It means that Chelsea can, in fact, PSG can go down 10 men and Chelsea will still not win. Because that's a scenario possible in football. They can get 3 men sent off. In that scenario, PSG still wins. PSG can get 5 men sent off. In that scenario, PSG wins. PSG can get 10 men sent off. In that scenario, PSG still wins this match against Chelsea Football Club. That is according to Victor Atsu Tamakloe. No scenario. That, okay, give me some of the scenarios that can happen in football. In this particular game, some of the scenarios that can happen in football. He says, no scenario.
If PSG don't show up,
If PSG
they'll
start
reschedule the game, they'll not forfeit it. This week they'll be a week.
Victor Atsu Tamakloe.
I'm here.
No scenario. No scenario.
Are you going to ask the question or you want to?
I have no question.
Okay, then keep right.
No scenario. What is your week been like? On a lighter note, what has it been like? I've seen that.
I've had a very...
No. I've seen a lot of your friends have been tormenting you on the timeline.
Oh, are you football banter?
That's what I'm saying. I want you to take me through some of the stuff you've seen this week.
This football banter it happens all the time.
Didn't you say you were
your
getting...
team loses, you get trolled. You
Yeah.
say something people don't agree with, you get trolled. So it's nothing out of the ordinary.
What was that? So let me put your words back to you. You said there was no scenario where Chelsea wins in this game.
Yeah.
The best they could do was contain and limit the damage.
Yeah.
From your own estimation now, so I'm going to begin with you. What was the scenario that played out then? Because you said there wasn't one that existed. So what kind of
You know
scenario?
the hypocrisy of this?
No, it's the fun
in
of
the
it.
tape that he played. I would want you to play it again.
Okay.
When I was explaining the fact that PSG have demystified this perception that they can be bullied.
Oh, that was very well explained.
And you kept saying...
Yeah,
true.
and I agreed with you
Yes.
because the evidence showed that
Yes.
they hadn't been bullied. I didn't say Chelsea were going to bully them.
This after the facts analysis of you should have seen it coming.
No, nobody
There
said...
is-
hold on. Nobody said you should have seen it.
Do you want to answer the question for me?
I said...
Do you want to answer the question for me?
I said...
Do you want to answer the question for me? Otherwise, yes,
Okay, go on.
I don't believe there is any fair mind who would have predicted what happened on Sunday to happen in that manner?
True. But do you think any
Not the scoreline,
Yes.
not the fact that it was done by halftime, not the manner in which they executed it. Look, what happened on Sunday was perfection, and I would give them the credit for that. I didn't see that coming. No objective analysis of the two teams, the way they've played in the last year, in the last 6 months, would have concluded that Chelsea were favourites. So when I sat here and I said that there is no scenario, of course it was an exaggeration, but fundamentally it was to tell you that PSG were overwhelming favourites, and that was a fact. Unless you are blinded by loyalty to your football club, there is no way anybody pre that game would have said Chelsea were favourites or that it was a match of equals. They were not. And look, that final does not change my opinion that the two teams are still worlds apart. You can have a good game plan that produces a result for you in 90 minutes. It does not automatically raise your level to say that because of what you've done in that one match, all of a sudden, you are at par with the team that you beat. That is not how football works. So if you are expecting me to come and say that, oh, I was wrong, of course I was wrong. So were every single objective analysis of that game. Because there is no scenario where anybody would have predicted that Chelsea were going to win.
That phrase, found.
Oh yes, I'm doubling down on it. That Chelsea were going to win by 3-0 at halftime. Even the most optimistic of Chelsea fans would have told you we were going to. And here's the thing. Some of the reactions that I've had for me are, and again, it betrays how fickle football fandom is. People want to invite you to go and talk about their history and how they did it in 2012 and how they did this in the past. And Chelsea as a club, not necessarily the team. And so because of their history, I ought to have given them more credit. But it is selective history because it is the same Chelsea team that has lost a Club World Cup final before. It is the same Chelsea team that between 2022 and 2024 made history, became the first English club to have lost 3 consecutive FA Cup finals. That is part of their history. But in our selective amnesia and in our haste to look like we saw it coming, we will trump up the events of the past and say that this is our history and it is the sum and the collective of what the club represents, completely neglecting their recent history, which is actually a more objective, a more credible indicator of what the team is capable of doing. So congratulations to them.
Hey, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
If you have any further questions, I'll take them.
No, congratulations to Chelsea. Congratulations to Chelsea. So here's my question to you then. Having watched the game,
Yeah.
where did it all fall apart for Paris Saint-Germain? You because you extol their qualities quite immensely.
The first point was the fact that they were able to suffocate them.
Chelsea were able to suffocate PSG.
Yes, and I'll explain that in 2 parts. They cut shots the amount of time PSG had on the ball in the central areas where they could kill you with their distribution. So they cut shots but also ensure that the passing lanes, the passing options, the angles, the players in space, right, who could do damage were all taken up. And so even if you're able to dribble through the press, you will run into traffic because all of your options essentially had been covered. But perhaps the most decisive of those was the goalkeeping aspect. And that was another thing that reinforces my belief that, look, not even the most optimistic of Chelsea fans would have predicted what happened on that day. How many times have Chelsea fans not complained about the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez? But he was imperious on the day. His distribution, something that is not part of his strengths. Yes, at Brighton he looked good, but at Chelsea, he's made a number of errors.
True.
With his passing. So on that day, what really was the probability that he will be time and again be that accurate with his long balls over the top? It is not something you've seen him do at Chelsea consistently. So it is within logic not to expect that he will do it. But that was something that he did excellently. And the repeated manner of it just goes to show you that It was a tactic. It was the instruction that would go down the left.
The Chelsea right.
No, PSG's left. Yes, thank you. The Chelsea right side will go down that right side and then attack him. And it was interesting because they didn't put any natural forward on him, on Nuno Mendes, for it to become a 1v1 dribbling or defensive contest. Rather, it was just someone who was a runner and very physical. And the moment he made that first mistake that opened the floodgates for them, Chelsea kept it at it. Same place, same long balls over the top. So they would suck in. And I kept telling people that whatever you say about Nuno Mendes, what you can blame him for was the fact that he mistimed that first ball and jumped. If he stays back and defends that space, he's essentially inviting Malo Gusto to attempt to dribble or hold on to possession and draw his teammates into play. But he makes that error in judgments by jumping, loses that aerial tussle, and then he goes to score. But if you put any PSG left back in that position, what they did when the team had possession is the same thing they would have done, because that is how Luis Enrique wants his team to play. The fullbacks will push higher up the pitch. So if there is anything that he was at fault for, it would have been the fact that he misjudged that long ball that resulted in the first goal. But even then, there may have been opportunities for them to recover.
Interesting. Listen, what I would say, I think what is not okay sometimes, and you mentioned it, and the reason I asked you about some of the messages you've received within this week was because we had a we had a private conversation and about some of the things that Chelsea fans were sending to you because their team won. There's no place for that kind of vitriol, even if your team win. Like you said, football banter is it's all good, it's all okay. But sometimes some people transcend that and make it a bit personal. I mean, you take it in good stride. You predict, you widely get it wrong. It's okay. People predict and widely get it wrong all the time. There was a time at my previous work, I think Danike will remember this, where I went on a streak of like 6 months. Every time I predicted, the opposite would happen. If I predict a win for you, you were going to lose, and it became one of the worst periods in my panditry history. It's like every day I would predict with confidence, even the most obvious result, they will go and 10, and the people who have not won in like 6 previous matches will suddenly come and find
they'll start winning
something somewhere, go and win the match. So I just gave up predicting because now it just didn't make sense anymore. But I don't think it is fair to say that the Chelsea fans that had any hope that Chelsea were going to win this game, even if not by that margin, were using selective result in the past to justify the conclusion or their hope. Because Chelsea fans are the only ones that would keep reminding you, even in the face of great adversity and a seemingly impossible task, they're the ones that would remind you that this is a team that is capable of this. And the examples of what Chelsea have done in the past when everyone has ruled them out far outweigh the times when people have ruled them out and they haven't come up clutch. In fact, in a lot of those times when they've lost those matches that you alluded to, like the Club World Cup in 2012, they were overwhelming favorites. And Chelsea fans, their argument has always been that when they have been massive favorites, it hasn't turned out well. It is when they haven't been favorites, that's when they've turned up. And in this example against PSG, it was one of those cases where Chelsea were not deemed to be favorites.
The three examples that I gave of the treble of FA Cup losses,
two of them were to Liverpool.
Were Chelsea overwhelming favorites?
Chelsea were not favorites.
Thank you.
They were not underdogs either.
Thank you. So
what were they?
Is it what?
What were they?
No, you see, let's be honest.
The only final I remember Chelsea went into without being either favorite or an underdog was 2008 Champions League final against United. Like the two teams were a par.
Hold on. Was it last season FA Cup final? The one Van Dijk scored the header.
Liverpool were favourites.
Yes, but were they overwhelming favourites?
Yes.
Because I think most of you forget that before that final, Liverpool have massive injury issues and they fielded a lot of young players. If you remember, that was when the Bradleys all of a sudden all started turning up.
Yeah, but it was against a very poor Chelsea team.
No,
a Chelsea team that wasn't playing well.
I understand, but I'm saying that on the day, when you look at the starting 11 of the two teams, there was no way anybody would look at that and say Liverpool were overwhelming favourites.
But they were favourites.
I can also give you situations
So-
where
so-
Chelsea
so-
were
so-
underdogs.
So I only brought that.
So-
See, I only brought that to
selective.
establish the
And it's
fact that
okay.
And I'm saying
it is
that
selective.
and I'm saying that I disagree. That's what I say. I'm saying I disagree. Okay, I
I remember Chelsea
You
were
don't
going
get
to
me.
face
Hold on.
Man
you
City.
don't really,
because hold on.
you really don't get it.
I get it.
I have made the
get it.
point that
I get it.
it is selective.
I get it.
You are telling me that every time they have done that, it is when they have been
And I
underdogs.
said the examples outweigh. So if you're, it's not to say that examples of what you talk about don't exist.
How
But
many
the-
finals have Chelsea been underdogs to and won? How many finals?
Pretty much every single one.
That's
They were
not true.
underdogs.
Which one?
Hold on. From recent memory, they were underdogs.
2 Champions League finals,
They were underdogs.
2 Champions League finals,
Europa
and
League.
then
Hold
this
on.
one. Which
You-
Europa League?
No, they were not underdogs in
So
2000.
hold on. I have a question for you.
Which Europa League?
2019 or 2018
Against who?
Against
against Arsenal.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Are you bad?
Charlie,
I'm
stop
serious.
it. Stop
I'm
it.
serious.
Stop it.
So
Stop,
you're
stop,
saying
stop.
that? Hold on.
Stop.
Are you serious?
Hold on. Hold on.
You had finished up. You had wrapped up top 4. You had
You had
finished
won
above
Champions
them.
season before.
You had
so-
won.
Hold on.
What are you even talking about?
You are finished
Of
above
the-
them in the league.
Hold on.
What made
hold on,
Arsenal
hold on.
favourites?
Of the two managers that played.
The only reason why people were giving Arsenal
What's
was
Emery? No, because of the
and
score.
it's not, and it's not
So is that overwhelming
and it-
favourite?
and
Are
it's
you
not-
serious?
and
He didn't make
It
Arsenal
doesn't make you
favourites.
underdogs.
And he's not an important
No, it
factor.
doesn't make you underdogs.
No, he's not an important factor.
But how are you jumping
said
from
overwhelming
important
favourite.
factor?
Chelsea went into that-
How are
Chelsea-
you jumping from important factor to
Hold on.
translate
Chelsea
that to
went
mean they
into-
were
hold on.
underdogs?
Chelsea went into that final
Uh-huh.
with a manager who had never in his entire career
Uh-huh.
won a trophy before. Doesn't know what it's like to coach in a championship winning team. No history.
Let me
Not
ask you
in the league title.
let me ask you a
No,
question.
Hold on.
Let me ask- When Real Madrid went to the Champions League final against Juventus, against Allegri, when Zizou's first Champions League triumph, was Madrid an underdog because it was Allegri versus Zizou? Don't bring that coaching. It's about the team, the players, and what the team has done that season.
Wait. So you're saying that what makes up the team excludes the coach?
I'm saying the coach can be part, but a coach
it's
can
a
single-handedly
factor, so
never.
Yeah, but
the
you
coach
cannot-
can single-handedly
it's a factor,
never.
but you cannot jump from-
It defeats the coach can single-handedly never make a team favorite or underdogs. What I say, if Pep Guardiola picks this Mayu team, does that and a go to Champions League fan, this same Mayu team, and meets Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, does that make Man United all of a sudden favorites because it's Pep overwhelming favorites?
Not
Because
overwhelming. But
Yeah, so
certainly
you,
there's a factor.
so you were not. They were not.
So
it
they-
doesn't
but
make Man United favorites.
But it's a factor.
Yeah, but the fact that it's a factor doesn't
It's
make
a
it the
factor.
ultimate determinant of what is underdog and favorite.
It's a factor, but it will not determine who is a favorite.
Yes.
Predominantly depends on the quality of players and performances leading to the specific game. So the coach might be 10 times winner of that competition, but the quality of players that he's got and the performances leading to that particular game you're talking to determines who is overwhelming favorites coming into it.
The only Champions League final you were overwhelming underdogs was 2012.
Yeah.
Full stop. That's the only one. That's
Where
the
Because
only one.
What?
even against City,
Overwhelming
that season,
underdogs.
Come
You
on.
have beaten them three times.
3 times
before that.
3 times in a row
Chelsea
before
was the only
final.
team that was beating Man City.
Thomas Tuchel's friends, Chelsea team.
So because of that, Chelsea were favorites against Man City.
Nobody said they were favorites. You
Two
were the
teams
one
are
who,
gonna-
who introduced this, and you are trying to force this narrative that
No,
they
I'm
were
not forcing
they were
it.
underdogs.
I'm
But
not-
it is completely false.
I'm not
How do you
forcing
look
it.
at Chelsea's performance against Arsenal that season? Chelsea's performance in the cup competitions and conclude that Chelsea were underdogs against 2019 Arsenal. By what metric?
So wait. So hold on a second. If
You
do-
finish
if you-
above
hold
them.
On, hold on.
Uh-huh.
Hold on. So if you do player for player analysis between that Arsenal 2019
Friends.
team and the Chelsea 2019 team, you would come to the conclusion that Chelsea were overwhelming favorites.
No one said they were overwhelming favorites.
But they were not underdogs.
I'm disputing this farcical statement that they were underdogs. You had outperformed.
Were they-
How do you
hold
outperform
on.
a team? Wait, how do you outperform a team And then when you meet them in that same season, in a final, you turn around and say that team is underdog. What sort of logic is that?
How did Arsenal turn up in the final?
You tell me. You follow your team better than I do.
I said Arsenal. That's not my team. Said, how did Arsenal turn up in the final? The point I'm trying to make is that Arsenal may have been underwhelming in the league that season or performed worse than Chelsea in the league that season. Somehow, in the Europa League, it's the one competition where Arsenal were excellent throughout. And the whole conversation that particular year was that the reason Arsenal were so good in the Europa League was because they also have a manager that has a pedigree of winning that competition, knows that competition better than any other
manager. But that manager was coming up against a team that has won that competition before and won that competition versus
but we are talking about, but we are talking about performances here. And I'm saying that in the Europa League that season,
they made the final.
Apart from just making the final, Arsenal were one of the best, if not the best team en route to the final. Chelsea made the final with the penalty shootout victory against Frankfurt. They struggled.
So
that made Arsenal.
So that one game.
No. I'm saying that you're not getting me. I'm saying don't use Arsenal's league performances to justify the fact that Chelsea finished above them.
But the league is let's not go any further.
The league is not a cup competition.
No,
because give me a second. There are teams that are so bad in the league, but so good in the cup
give me a second. Take away the managers. Let's go through the teams that played on the day.
Okay.
Everybody listening, I'm going to mention the two teams. You tell me who are the better squad and who would have been favorites on the day.
Okay.
This Arsenal's team. Monreal. Peter Cech was imposed. Monreal. Koscielny. Papastopoulos. Back three. Midfield 4. Kolasinac. Xhaka. Lucas Torreira. Maitland-Niles. That's midfield 4. The three attackers. Ozil behind Aubameyang and Lacazette. Now let's look at Chelsea's team. Kepa was imposed. Aspilicueta. Christensen. David Luiz, Emerson, back 4. Midfield 3, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, midfield 3. Front 3, Pedro, Olivier Giroud, Eden Hazard. How do you look at these two teams on paper and tell me that Chelsea were underdogs because on the bench was Mauricio Sarri coming up against Unai Emery? Charlie, stop it.
Hold on. Look at that front three of Arsenal.
Look at Chelsea's front three.
I get it.
Another example. Now this one.
What are you talking about? Look at we are the World Cup winner. No, wait. 2019, 2018, we are the World Cup winner in Olivier Giroud. We have Pedro, a World Cup winner. You have Eden Hazard, who has been the best player in the Premier League for back-to-back seasons and has overperformed. Even in that year, the year coming into the Europa League final, Eden Hazard had won bronze with Belgium at the World Cup. That is the front three of who is the front three of Arsenal. Aubameyang, what? Lacazette, what? Maybe Ozil. So why are you making it sound as though that front three is any better than?
See the way you have just dismissed.
No. Comparatively, who's Aubameyang as compared to Eden Hazard? Who's Lacazette as compared to Pedro? Or Olivier Giroud? Who are they as compared to the front three? Look at the midfield. Xhaka, Lucas Torreira, as against N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic. Look at the back line. David Luiz, Andres Christensen, Aspilicueta, Emerson. Example, and then look at that back line for... how do you look at this team, these two teams, and somehow find a way to try to convince people that Chelsea were underdogs just to back your narrative? You've won the Club World Cup. Credit. Batu makes a brilliant point. And for me, I think anybody who is fair would agree that football fans are... Listen, football fans are like that. And for me, I don't sit here and tell football fans that when I make a prediction and it goes south, they shouldn't come at me on social media. Cook me. Cook. Say what you want. I have to train my mind and myself on how to react and how to take them in, because whatever I will say won't change how people will be. I don't have control over it. I have control over how I'll deal with it. Right? Once you have the platform and once people listen to you, and football is an emotional sport, they will come. Here's the thing. Football fans have a way of finding their own narrative. And Chelsea fans have a narrative that whenever they've won a final, it's because they are underdogs. When they've lost it, it's because they are favorites. And Atsu has just said that is not very true. And he's giving very good examples. So let's not force that narrative on anybody. When there are clear examples that is not the case, it is true that in some finals or big finals, when you are underdogs, you some way, somehow, and it's a special thing. It's a special thing, but it doesn't mean that it's always the case. So Atsu is very right when he says that, and there's nothing wrong with it.
You know, Chelsea Football Club, apart from the recent history, they've also won the Interclub Championship back then when it was UEFA Cup Winners, Cup Winners' Cup is what they called it back then. 2 of those victories also came up against Real Madrid. One of them in 1998, Real Madrid were the Champions League winners. Chelsea were the Cup winners. They faced each other. Chelsea won.
Fent, once it is not a complete, it's not an absolute that anytime you have entered a final as underdogs, you've won. You can't say by force he should have known. What is that?
I've not said.
Yeah, so what he said.
The very thing you are contesting now. Did you listen at all?
I've not said that.
No, but
So, okay.
Wait, I want to understand
Hold
something.
on.
The very thing you are contesting now. Did you listen at all? I said it is not completely true. How is this even debatable?
It's not debatable.
Or Chelsea have been.
I've not said.
Then what
are you defending? What
exactly are you defending? Unless you are saying that
bro, when
you are able
Barcelona
to establish.
Yeah, when Barcelona played Man United in 2009, Barcelona were no favourites coming into that final. They were coming up against the defending champions who, on their way to that final, dispatched teams really well. Barca can any Barca fan say that because of that? When they come into some finals and they are underdogs, they will win. No.
Okay, guys, let's make progress. The bottom line is that anybody that sits here or sits anywhere and tries to take credit away from Chelsea winning and saying that any Chelsea fan that alluded to any previous history for the belief that they were capable of winning against PSG, if you say that the basis of their belief was flawed, I don't think that is also fair. But you mentioned, you said they have a way of choosing narrative. So
that's
people can, So,
but somebody can check it up.
No, yes, you can check it. Yeah. But I'm also saying that it doesn't make it invalid.
It does.
No,
if you say every time they are underdogs, we win, and that is not the fact. It means it's not true.
I don't know. No.
But what you are saying is not true.
Hold on.
You can pick situations where you were the underdogs and you rose above
which is
it and you
obvious.
won. Which is okay, that's fine.
No one has
Look,
contested
this
that.
sport is very is subjective. There's nothing objective about this sport.
It is subjective.
Because everything you say, there's always a counter to
It
it.
can be defended.
It's true. Everything you say, there will be a counter to it. So you can pick, and based on your point, find other examples that you suit. In fact, that is what lawyers do. You find examples that will suit what you want to say, and then you present your submission. And that's what he did. At the end of the day, the thing has backfired. Credit to Chelsea. Brilliant. But it doesn't mean that you can come and sit and say that it wasn't true or he wasn't being objective. That Master, what are you talking about? Is it every time that Chelsea have entered a final where they are underdogs they've won? No. Is it every time Chelsea have entered a match where they are underdogs and they've won? No. If it's not absolute, then we move on. Let's analyze a match now. This is your back and forth. What is that?
Trying to force a narrative here.
Let's talk about the game then. In that case,
the guys have tired. Ashok, Karim is tired.
One more to talk about too. No, you've done what 40 minutes on Chelsea. It's okay. Let's move on.
All right, let's talk about transfers.
Yes.
Listen, there's a Chelsea fan here to join the conversation. Please bring him. Bring Abofa, president of the Chelsea Football
Let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. He's a world champion.
He's a world champion. Please clap for him.
He's a world champion.
Please clap for him.
Fantastic.
Listen, apart from the World Champions Trophy, of course, Chelsea also have the distinct honor of going home with over 100 million, which they can then reinvest in the club and then ensure that they continue to dominate for a long time. What we will do now is take a short break just to get a
friend, quick one before the break. No.
Yeah.
You say why they insult at you?
Oh. Monday he come to me. He said, Charlie, some of the people. He said some of the generally be nice, but some of the people some way. Okay. What did you say? What did you say?
When you said I come to you, there's like the thing over. You go me. We were having breakfast.
You were eating, not me.
Oh, Chelsea fans, relax.
And we were discussing this. What I say, Charlie?
Let's go on break.
Some of the messages, if I see, I block and I delete.
Make no explain.
What's the worst message you got? No, I'm genuinely interested. What's the worst?